Wear my mask like this. No, like this. Oh, yeah, take it off. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Okay, we're going to commence. Let me start. We're going to do an official opening ceremony of prayer that we'll do in our hearts. I first want to start off by thanking the media for being here today, and I'll specifically state why shortly. I'll introduce to me Bernice in the center, of course, the mother of Jennifer, Wilfred, the father, and the brother, right Wally beside them. Also Anita, spokesman of the Métis women in Manitoba. But, you know, in looking at why this press conference is important to have the support of the media, as we know the media and the story of the media can probably help solve this in many ways. I was looking at some data and statistics and shows that Indigenous, in fact was done by the Law Society Association, they said 27 times less coverage is done on Indigenous people versus non-Indigenous. It was a study done by the Law Society. And it begs the question of how do we get this out there that the family wants to bring their baby home. And when we look at this whole issue, that's 2008, that's 12 years. Jennifer has been missing, gone. But when Bernice and I talked, and you know, I said one of the great things that drew the Métis government into this is that we have our own $10,000 reward program for missing and unsolved murders for Métis women and boys. We're just finalizing the final touches of that policy. And in our cabinet, we talked about the compassion of families that have those that are missing. And we know it's by thousands and thousands across Canada, Indigenous women. That we know without question. So we're quite taken, myself personally as a leader, along with Anita, spokesman of Métis women in our cabinet. Bernice and Wilfred have never given up. 12 years they've been searching. They just finished another trek just recently, and this time they thought they had it. They've been collecting their own investigation of all the information that they could get through Twitter, Facebook, any means of possibility of just a shred of information to come, which might help bring their baby home. So we know there's somebody out there. Somebody has information. And Bernice will tell you shortly about the journey of the 10,000 that they helped raise to get that information. But that's 12 years in the making and nothing has come out of it yet. So our government decided to say, okay, let's ante this up a little bit more. Maybe it's going to take the goodwill, the heart, and the prayer to get that individual, whoever it is, to come out and say anonymously, is what even the family said. They don't care if anybody gets charged anymore. They don't care about that. They just want their baby home. So if that person out there is listening, imagine for a second it was your family. Imagine just for a fraction of a section if that was your family going through this. 12 years of pain, 12 years going to bed at night wondering if the morning is going to come where a hint will finally be there or a clue that you're going to go and find your baby and bring her home. I told Bernice in my discussion with her is that Jennifer must be so proud of you as parents that you've never given up on her. You've never just said, let the police do it, let the government do it, just let somebody else trying to bring my baby home. They took it upon themselves. They're going to do everything in their power. Firstly, they're a little bit disappointed in the system. The system is not doing enough. And they themselves go out and travel. They're going out now, shortly after this session today, to start putting up new posters. And of course, the new posters are now going to say $20,000 reward, because the MMF is committing $10,000 more. And we'll do it through the wishes of Bernice and Wilfred. How do you want to give that $10,000? If they say they don't want anybody, they don't care about the charges, they just want somebody to give them evidence, the body, where it lies, or by some miracle, Jennifer is still alive. But right now, the family believes that somebody did something wrong. But we also believe in our heart of hearts that somebody else out there does know something. So if the 20,000 is an incentive, we hope it will be. And we pray, and that's why the Federation has initiated that $10,000 reward system that'll take effect already this year. The policies will be completed. And although Jennifer's First Nation and the Métis Nation is setting it for the Métis Nation policy, we felt upon ourselves as a government we have to do our part to help out in any way we can. So we're not only assisting with the $10,000 reward, we're also assisting with the cost of covering all the new posters, the travel. They're going to be traveling all over to put up the posters and go back, as I said, bologna and scrambled egg sandwiches and garlic on the road. It is a challenging time, a difficult time. And let Bernice tell you the ray of hope they thought they had just recently in their dig on when they got a hint of a potential location. And then for that person out there that has that information, just listen to Bernice and she'll tell you what they saw, what they heard, how they dug what they were digging, when they found what they thought the hint was there, what was actually described as the hint, how their hearts were pounding. Let Bernice tell you that herself. And then maybe then you'll be brave enough, strong enough, bold enough to come out and help and just send the secret message and let Jennifer come home. So I'm going to turn it over to Bernice, and then myself and Anita will do some closing. But I want to make it very clear again to our people out there in the media, I thank you for being here, because your story, your coverage is what we need to get out there and spread that message right across this province, that we need somebody to be brave enough and bold enough to come out and do their part. So I'll turn it over to Bernice. And for the other media that's here, we do have our own live streaming here in our government. You can use that equipment, our live streaming coverage that we have, and it can be shared with other media outlets. So I'm going to turn it over to Bernice. And
can you give me 2 minutes?
I'll give you 2 minutes. Yes, thank you very much. And you're from? Global. Oh, I always love Global. I always come around when I ask them.
Thanks.
Yeah, sure. But again, I'm sincere in my comments when I make them. I don't know if you know anything about the study that was done by Law Society Association, where they did a very in-depth study. They said 27 times less coverage is done on Indigenous people than non-Indigenous missing women. So, and that's the part when you go into our smaller villages and communities, just for media's message here, when we go into we don't get the free press in there. We get grassroots newspaper in there. CBC is the only other one that really actually has radio waves that can cover anywhere in Manitoba. They're the only ones, because others, their waves are only short, they can only go so far. But CBC has a massive coverage on AM and partly FM. But we're trying to figure out ourselves in the Federation how we can enhance the communication system. So all these villages, Métis live in 80 villages plus all the urban centers, and there's 125,000 of us. First Nations have over 60 bands. So imagine getting that information in there. If it's an Indigenous person, that solution might be the person living that reserve or that Métis community that might have a clue, that yet does not know this is even happening. So I told Bernice we need to get this out somehow and keep on pushing it out. And like I said, they asked me the question, why are you doing it, MMF? Like, you're Métis and we're First Nation. I said, because my mom raised me differently. My mom raised me strongly to be, I'm a mama's boy, and I've always had compassion and heart. And one of the reasons we're doing it for is I said, I have such great pride and praise in you that you've never given up. 12 years and you're still searching every year. And your hope has never been gone. So for us, it's like, wow, that's an example for all missing mothers that are gone out there, or daughters and sons, that you never give up hope. And if Jennifer can, as I said to Bernice, sees you right now, she must be so proud of you as parents. Her parents have never given up to bring her home. So I think it's a lesson to all others. Don't just let the system try to do it. If you can't, go out and help and do whatever you can to help the system find the clue that would help you find the missing loved one. So again, I'm going to turn it over. Are you ready, Global? Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Bernice, and Bernice will maybe start off with a little introduction of the 12 years, and she'll tell you what their last dig, where they just finished, and but some of the treks that they've been going through. And hopefully somebody out there is going to follow this news coverage and say, Bernice, Wilford, we got something to tell you. So I'll turn it over to Bernice.
I just want to say, first of all, start off by saying thank you so much to President David Chartrand and all those involved in making this happen today. I'm really, really overwhelmed and blessed. I don't know where to begin. I've got so much on my heart. I hardly slept last night because of what's taking place today. Jennifer, our daughter Jennifer, I'm with my husband here, Wilford, and my son, Willie. Jennifer went missing on her 18th birthday. She just turned 18. And June 19th, 2008 was the worst. From that day when I last heard from Jennifer, it was her birthday. She called home and she was excited. She was happy. It was her birthday. We planned a family barbecue. To those of you that have never heard Jen's story, I just want to recap who Jennifer is. Jennifer was our baby girl. And so she was excited about her birthday. She planned a steak dinner. She wanted a barbecue steak and a party. And so we got steaks for her, and so June 19th she came, she phoned, and she said, Mom, it's my birthday. And I said, I know it's your birthday, Jen. I said, we're happy, and Jennifer was so happy for her birthday. And I don't know, I said, where are you, Jen? Where are you, Jen? And she said, she turned her face away from the phone and she said, where are we? I don't know how much I could, because this is still under investigation, they tell me. But I had such a pain in my stomach. I've never experienced that kind of pain in my stomach talking to her. It's like a sharp pain of fear. I had such fear for her. I said to her, Jennifer, get home. Get home, Jennifer, get home. And I hung up the phone. And I kicked myself every day. I lived in guilt every day for years. Because if I didn't hang up, maybe I would have found out where she was or who she was with. But I hung up the phone. And that's the last I heard from her. I never spoke to her again. It's been 12 years. She didn't come home. That was a Thursday. She didn't come home. So I figured maybe, she's celebrating. So she didn't come home Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I was getting worried. Sunday, she didn't come home. Monday, I went to the police, to the RCMP detachment in Portage. And I went to report her missing. And they told me, the constable there told me, oh, she's 18. How old is she? I said, she just turned 18. Oh, she's on a drunk. Just, she'll be back. I said, you don't know her to talk like that. I said. So I went home. I think it was maybe about a few days, maybe 5 days later, they finally took it serious and came and got a statement. That's when I last spoke with Jen. And that was just the beginning. 12 years ago, that's the beginning of our journey, a nightmare. It's been a nightmare because of so many misleading tips that we've been given, and we have to follow every tip, everything you hear, every whether it sounds outrageous. We still had to follow those leads and those tips, and which took us to different areas, different communities, 3 different communities. And in those times, we excavated 3 dumps. We excavated 3 dumps looking for Jennifer. And it's so heart-wrenching and it's so hard when that bucket goes down into the dump and you're shaking that out to see if Jennifer's there. At one point, I thought I found, it sounds morbid and it sounds gruesome, but that's what it is. Looking in a dump for your child. Who would, you'd never imagine. What if that was your daughter? What if that was your daughter? You're looking in a dump, in a garbage dump, you're opening it up, and the smells and everything in there. I thought we found her. A helmet, out of all the debris, a helmet comes rolling out of there. And I thought that was the skull. In 12 years because of people told me that they put her in a dump. It's been 12 long years. Every summer we go out, no matter the weather, no matter the storms that we've been through, the mountains, the lakes, we've been through islands. People said she's on that island. We fundraise, we hired somebody to take us out to the island and everywhere in mountains and valleys, and no matter the storms and the heat, we would go. I got poison ivy 3 times in one summer in my body, and I was in swamps and chest deep in swamps, and my husband was down a big ravine, and it's dangerous, but that's where they tell us that they put her there or threw her there. We didn't think twice of our own safety. We never thought, so most times, 90% of the time, well, now it's just my husband and I that'll go out there. We've never given up and we'll never give up. How could a mother say, not anymore, I can't do this anymore? That's crossed my mind. I'm human. That's crossed my mind. I'm tired. I'm 12 years older. We're 12 years older. It crossed my mind to give up because I have other children who need me. I've got 14 grandchildren who need me. But I just put that aside so I could go out there and find our baby. This last 2 weeks ago, we were out searching again. And in this area, and one of the, I don't know how much information I can give out on with Jennifer, but we're searching in this area, and my husband noticed a little piece of blue tarp that was under the ground, just that little corner. He said, "What's this?" And we started digging, and he started pulling out a huge tarp because it's been 12 fall seasons that leaves are falling, so it's 12 years of, so we start pulling out that, my heart is beating, and we're pulling out that tarp from there and digging, because they said this individual wrapped her in a rug and in a tarp. So our hearts are beating and we're pulling on this, and we pull out a big spongy thing, and I thought, oh, that's the carpet. So we dug deeper, and we're just getting frantic here, and my husband pulling on this steel, and I was hoping this is Jen. I just want to bring her home. I just want to bring Jennifer home. Because I know somebody out there knows where Jennifer is, somebody last laid their eyes on her. Jennifer didn't just disappear. Somebody took her. Somebody stole her from us. All I want is to bring her home. That's why I'm here. I'm so grateful. I can't even say enough for Mr. Chartrand, President Chartrand, coming forward to donate $10,000 to our daughter. Help me. Help me bring her home. Help me bring her home. I'm not one to beg. I don't beg. But I just want her home. I just want her home. You can help me. You can help us bring her home. It's 12 years. It's been 12 years. It has to be over. This nightmare has to end now. I'm going to ask, I want to thank you, somebody out there. Please help us. You can contact us. You can contact me through my Facebook, Bernice Catcheway, or the RCMP for, if you have information, if you want to go that way. My husband and I will go get her. Leave us a map, anything. We'll go get her. Wherever she is, we'll go get her. We'll bring her home. And ask my son to come up and say a few words.
Morning. My name is Willie Starr. It's not easy. My name is Willie Starr. I'm the brother of Jennifer Catcheway. I just want to extend my gratitude on behalf of my family to the Manitoba Metis Federation and President David Chartrand for $10,000 for raising the reward for the exact location of my sister Jennifer. I also want to thank everyone who has been with us throughout this 12 years, the media, the community, all across Canada. Thank you. I just want to, we don't forget about other families that are going through the same experience. It's not easy. I know how it feels. I just want you to know that we care and that your missing loved ones, they're cared for, they're valued, and they should be respected. And whoever knows anything to come forward with any information that will help us and anyone going through this experience. It's something I would never want anybody to go through. It's very hard, and it's not a day that doesn't go by without, Jennifer on our minds. We want it to stop. Just come forward and let us know where she is, and we'll go get her. Thank you. Thanks.
Again, thank you, Bernice, for speaking from the heart and speaking directly to those out there that may know something and that can make a difference. I guess the way you look at this for those people out there is that it's an opportunity to let the family truly grieve the loss of their baby. But the grieving will be more appreciated if they could take her home to her own graveyard, where she can be seen and visited on a daily basis, a regular basis in the family. So whoever's out there, there's a $20,000 reward now. If that's not the incentive that you need, if it's just the compassion and heart that you're going to use to think about it for a second, send a prayer, but send a message, send a hint, send a clue, and get it there. So you see, you hear the feel, you feel the pain. I feel the pain. You must feel the pain too. So we're asking you, be brave. Give that information. If you know, don't be afraid. They're not after you. They're not after trying to charge you. They just want to bring their baby home. And that's how probably thousands of Indigenous women feel today in families. They want to bring their babies home. So if you have information, please share it. They're begging you. And I know you're brave enough to do it, please. So I want to close off. Anita, you want to say a few words before? So on behalf of Métis Women.
Thank you for the opportunity to say a couple words. As a mom, I can't even imagine that's the worst nightmare that you go through. And my heart goes out to Bernice, Wilford, and Willie, and the rest of the family that have been going through this for 12 years. I can say one thing, though, that, in looking at their story, there's a few things that had popped out to me, and they're never going to stop. You can tell they're never going to stop looking for their daughter. So whoever has that information, or even that drawing of that map that she is asking for, they're never going to stop. And so if whoever's out there knows some information, they should be telling them, so that that heartache and that family can start on its healing journey. There are so many families out there that are struggling through this, and the pain, we've all gone through pain, but that pain is a different pain, because you don't know where your loved one is, you don't know where your family member is, you don't know where they are. Through Infinity Women Secretariat, our Métis women, we've been trying to push and educate our women on safety, on human trafficking, on gender-based violence, and of course on missing and murdered Indigenous women. Because for us, we think that the more information that we share with our women, and the more education that we can share with them on how to maintain their safety, how to always be aware of your surroundings, what to look for, who to trust and who not to trust, and the rights that you have as a woman, especially as an Indigenous woman. And so for us, we're going to continue on that. We're going to continue bringing these issues forward. So my heart goes out to Bernice, to Wilford, and to Willie, and the rest of the Catcheway families that are going through this. I can't even imagine the pain and suffering that they're going through. And my heart goes out to you. And my prayers will continue that those women, that those families find some peace, and that their loved ones come home. I will continue on that prayer. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. So if there's any questions you would love to ask as the media, that would be an opportunity to ask Bernice, Wilford, or Willie. And they'll be definitely pleased to try to share with you anything that could be helpful in any way they can. As Bernice is being cautious, given that there's still investigation, but they don't have to be cautious, but they're definitely sharing everything with the police. And again, they're just being the investigators that I hope somebody else would be as diligent and as forthright and as aggressive as they are. And I think we'd solve a lot more of these missing situations of women and children. So again, I'll open the media up for questions. If you want to ask any question, I think all the mics are on and working. So turn it over to you.
I'd like to know how many billboards are going to be up and where they're going to be located.
We purchased, can I take this off?
Yeah, take it off, yeah, right there. It's family, you're okay.
We've purchased four billboards, and they'll be going across the First Nation gas bars around, from here, Grand Rapids, then west around. 12, we've purchased 12.
Yeah, and so just 12 billboards that they're putting out, and also small signs. They're getting those small signs they'll be putting, you'll see in buildings, you'll see them as you travel. Like they asked me the question, when I go to Duck Bay, where I originally come from. In fact, where one of the queues eventually, I understand, may have come from. There are big billboards by my grandma's house as I'm driving, so it always gives me attention. I'm going. But the MMF is going to go one step further. We're actually working right now. We have a nearly $500,000 campaign partnership with Pattison on all their billboards and everything. So we are going to be putting something in our own rotating billboards that are live in the screens that you see across the city. So there'll be a 20,000 reward message that'll be going out in these massive billboards right across Manitoba. So it's we have my team working on it right now, and so Pattison has a very large stretch of billboards everywhere. So they're doing 12 on their own. They're going out themselves to put them up, but MMF is going to do a vast, big campaign.
President Chartrand had mentioned earlier that at this point, you're not focusing on getting an arrest or seeing, in a case like the focus for you is just on bringing her.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about how you got that?
Well, you know what, it's always been right from day one when she went missing was to bring her home. That's our ultimate, to bring our daughter home. And leave the whatever happened, I don't know what happened. You hear many stories throughout the 12 years. So I've come to the place where I don't know about justice in this society anymore. I don't know, but that's another story. But we'll leave that investigation to the RCMP. All I want is to bring Jennifer home. What's happened to her, it's happened to her. As a mom, as parents and family, we just want to bring Jennifer home.
So the reward that they're mentioning and our cabinet agreed with is that it's not usually you have a reward for the conviction, et cetera, of the incident. This particular reward that's been committed to by the family, the Catcheway family, is the first 10,000 reward that they have initiated on their own in partnership, I think, with some of the bands, is that they would then give that reward no matter if nobody's charged, as long as somebody comes and gives it in a secret way. They'll never reveal the person's name. They'll never share where they got it from. They're going to keep that in confidence, and I hope the police will respect that. And but the 10,000 more, which is now 20,000, will fall under the same idea because it'll be our decision of moving forward on that. We're not usually our rewards. You'll see that we're coming out will be requiring some kind of conviction and so forth, or attempts to try to find a solution or solve the murder that takes place.
All these searches and the most recent dig, are these all in the same general area, or have they moved around?
Over the years, because of we following tips and we started off at Dakota TP, we went to Grand Rapids, now we're in Duck Bay area. So because of all these tips that were over the years, we have to check out every one of them. And because of the people that we've spoken to over the years and the leads that we have is taking us to this particular area.
When was this most recent dig?
2 weeks ago, about maybe going on 3 weeks now. But it's constant. We're out there. We don't report to the media every time we're out there. We don't wait for the RCMP. We just go when we can. I do my own fundraising online, and that's what keeps us going out there.
How many trips total do you think you've made in the 12 years?
Countless, eh?
I can't even. We go all summer. When we go till the snow falls. We were in Ashern area at when the snow fell. And we're still searching, and I cried because I had to stop because of the snow. So, and the worst part is coming home, for me, is coming home empty-handed. Because you spend all summer and you work yourself up into believing this is going to be the summer. We're going to bring her home. We're working hard. And, and to come home empty-handed is so hard. But I'm praying with this today. This information has come in for the reward that's been upped to 20,000. I'm hoping somebody out there will give us the information that we're looking for to bring Jennifer home.
You're talking about 3/4 of the province from Grand Rapids south, so it's a vast amount of territory they're searching in, because that's where the incident they say happened from Grand Rapids. This coming south is where the last transfer of her journey was. And so they don't know where. It could have been any side road. It could have been anywhere that something could have occurred to Jennifer. So they had, as I indicated, they indicated themselves through their own journeys. We follow They've done quad drives and back roads and dug in certain hills that they see and anything that could, anything. So any hint, as they say, comes in, they immediately react on it. And this last one was the heart pounding one, because it was described to them as buried in a rug in a blue tarp. And then they see the blue tarp sticking out, and then they find kind of a rug shape inside the blue tarp. They thought that's it, it's there. So somebody, I don't know why, or somebody how close they were able to determine that particular blue tarp and some kind of rug inside there, but whoever gave them that hint in that location, they actually found a blue tarp, but there was no body.
Is the case, who has the case now? Is it still Portage RCMP?
No, Serious Crime Unit here in Winnipeg has it.
Is it Project Devote?
No, no. Jennifer was never part of Project Devote.
You got to remember too, Federal Canada just started, and I think Canada generally just started in 2010 of starting to truly report missing and murdered women. And she disappeared in 2008. So Canada just started to really register names and so forth 2010 forward. And after certain inquiries and studies, they know it's thousands and thousands and thousands of Indigenous women that are missing. So, so again, like for me, as a government, as a Métis government, I don't know why, but we're a rich, very prosperous country, and without doubt, Manitobans are the most generous people in this country. They give the most to charities and so forth, but you ask yourself, why isn't the provincial government, the federal government, developing a reward or mechanisms of how they can actually really flush out a very robust way of trying to incite or intrigue the ability of somebody to come forward by using all type of tools? There's no way it does it. You have Crime Stoppers, it does odds and ends, but you don't really have a very well structured plan, yet you have thousands and thousands of people missing. And so, as I said, even this additional 10,000, if that's what the trigger takes, and somebody comes forward finally says, okay, that to me, I'm willing to take the risk now. But those people out there that know the information, don't look at it as a risk. You're not taking a risk. You're helping a family. And the reward will just be something added on as a benefit for being brave enough to come and tell the family where she is, so they can take it home. And then let them grieve, let them rest. Because as you heard Anita state, they're not going to stop. And that's one of the things that really caught my attention as a president. I have such pride in that they've never ever stopped searching. And as you hear, all summer long. And imagine the stress upon the grandchildren, the children, just the family in general. Imagine the Christmas parties that you should normally have as a family, how there's an empty chair sitting there now. And the pain that goes there. Thanksgiving's coming around the corner. Usually you like to have your family around you. So there's so many different things and so many different events in 12 years that have gone through. There's 12 more birthdays. She would have been 30 years old. There's 12 more birthdays they missed. So somebody out there has got to have compassion. Somebody knows. Somebody knows something. And all it's going to take is that one hint, and they don't never have to reveal their name. That's as far as the family is willing to go. They'll go far and stretch it out. They don't have to ever tell who they are, and they'll give them the money the way they want it, and in a way that shows that they'll never be, hopefully, worried about the law, because this is not right now about the law anymore. It's about bringing a baby home. And so the law is not important to us right now regarding prosecution and charges. It's just to bring the baby home so they can have a place to truly rest in her home, and they can have a place that they can always go and honor on a regular basis. Because you can't go to sleep every night wondering where your child is laying.
You mentioned in your introduction that this is something that the Métis government is, you're trying to formalize a program or something?
Yeah, we announced it 2 years ago at our assembly. We're in our final stages now. We'll be talking about the Crime Stoppers. We already spoke to both the RCMP and the Winnipeg Police. We're working on a mechanism as of how that $10,000 reward that we will put in place. We're setting aside a $250,000 budget for that, so it'll be sitting there always. And so there's always going to be ability to get the $10,000 that's necessary and needed for a reward. And hopefully, as we said, that if that's the incentive it takes to help solve a murder, help solve a missing situation for our Métis women or boys or family, then that's what we're willing to do. Our government's willing to do that. So that's my point about federal and provincial government. If we're willing to put that, I'm willing to get them. They want to put $500,000, I'll match them $500,000. You know, if they believe in it so much as we believe, and we believe it's a part of a good solution, I'm willing to match anybody. And so I'm looking forward to the federal government hearing this. I spoke to Minister Monif yesterday, and she actually asked me Bernice's name and Wilford's name, and she also asked about Jennifer Catcheway. She's a federal minister for Canada. And so, you know, she almost said she almost started crying when I told her what we're doing. And she takes it, she definitely wanted to probably follow up why she asked for her names.
Was Jennifer older sister?
She's younger than me. Yeah, she's my baby sister. Yeah.
How many years?
She's born. I was born in '85, and she was born in '91. So, yeah.
What do you remember about growing up?
Man, I remember all types of moments with my sister. I remember when I was just mentioning her last night, actually. I was mentioning that in our reservation when we were living there, we had one of those big, huge satellites, right? And it would be blizzard outside and snowing, and so it would knock the satellite off its signal. So I tell Jennifer to go out there, you know, blizzard should get ready, she'd go running out there. So I'm yelling her from the window, turn it left, turn it right, so we can watch cartoons or whatever. Yeah, so I was just remembering good times like that. So every day we think about her. You know, we love her so much. We give, like, not a day goes by we don't think about her and all the good times we had, yeah.
How many kids are in the family or siblings?
Well, from my parents, when they both met, my mom had 2 daughters, my dad had 2 sons, and then along came me, and then Jennifer, and then my younger brother, yeah.
3.
So, yeah.
What are some characteristics that you remember of Jennifer when you're thinking about her, when you're smiling about her? What are some of the things that you think of?
Jennifer had a tone like her voice, it was always something like she's crying. I don't know why her voice was always like that. It's just like a whiny, but she's not whining. She just sounds like that, and it would really annoy me. And I don't, why do you talk like that? Her and I, she was daddy's girl. Jennifer was daddy's girl, and he would do anything for her. And I was the one that would. We were close, but they were closer. I mean, I loved her. I love her. You know, she's our baby. And you know what? I said, I'm blessed to have her 18 years. I would have loved to have her more. But those years that I do cherish having her 18 years, I would have loved to see her have grandchildren, for her to have children and, you know, get married. She had a job. She just started a job at A&W. That one day we were going, she said, I'm going to go and ask for a job in there. I said, oh, come on. She said, I'm going in to ask for a job. She said, I start Monday. She said, she come out. They hired her. She was going to start work. So she had a lot of dreams, you know, and that was taken from her. She was robbed of that. So just anytime I think of her, I never dwell on the issues. We had little disagreements, every family does, but thinking of her, all I see is love for her and feel for her, you know, and that's why we're working so hard. She wasn't an animal. You don't just go and discard wherever somebody put her. She's a human being, a beautiful young woman who had a lot to live for, and somebody stole that from her. And we just want to bring her home. That's my heart today. My heart's cry to somebody out there. Just help us bring her home. That's all I ask.
And never forget Jennifer's smile. Look at the posters. She's got a smile that'll connect you very strongly. So, and in our culture, and in most cultures, in fact, mothers usually are disciplinary. Fathers usually like to spoil the girls. That's how it works. At home, my baby's, my granddaughter, we raise her, and She's got the president wrapped around her finger, and it's my wife that actually does the disciplining, because I couldn't do it. I'd cry if I made her cry.
I think that's the thing with my husband and I. I was the one that did the disciplining at home to all our children. And my husband just sits back and just let her. And my husband was working, and Jen would be at home, and paydays would come. She would just say, that's all she did, and he would just give her the money. You know, they were very close, my husband and Jennifer.
Okay, is there any more questions? If not, I want to personally thank you from the Métis government for coming out here during a time of COVID. And I know it's a stressful time for all media, so we pray you be safe out there in your journey and what you do. And your story might be the one that will actually finally give somebody the incentive to phone or send a Facebook message and then do the end result of bringing it home. So again, I thank each and all media for being here. And let's start breaking down that 27 times less to equality some fashion. But again, I'm very proud that each and every one of you are here during the time of COVID. So thank you very much for coming, and we'll dispense ourselves in this room. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.